What's going on, you guys? This is EB Crypto, Family Cash Machine, Follow the Money. How you guys doing today? This is a Sunday, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the economy and where this is all going. I know for the last 3-4 years, actually I've been doing this about 6 years now, talking about the economy, talking about cryptocurrency, and talking about one of the greatest exchanges of wealth that's happening right now. But it also comes with a double twist. It comes with one of the most economic complex times and unique, troublesome times that we've ever seen in the history of the world, because all the fiat currencies are crashing at the same time. So I'm out and about, running around. I'm going to finish this video at home, but I want you guys to watch this small 9-minute video that I'm going to show. Mike Maloney breaks down in the early 2000s. He goes through the history of economies. And this is not something new, you know, with the inflation that's happening now. Wherever you're at in the world, I'm sure you're witnessing inflation and the devaluing of your dollar. It's costing more and more dollars to do the same thing. So I'm pretty sure you're witnessing that right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you a small video and show you how actually history is not really repeating itself, but the people in the world, they repeat the same activity as economies crash and inflation from a result of governments and banks just printing money. This happens over and over again, and we all might say that history repeating itself, but it's really not history repeating itself. It's actually governments doing the same thing, creating the same debt systems, printing money, okay, and us reacting the same way. This is a unique time today. We don't have to react the same way. So I want you guys to see this video because it is a perfect description of what's going to happen. And all he's doing is talking about what has happened in past economies with fiat currencies, paper money that's just printed with no value. And again, we're at the same place today. So watch this video and I'll finish this up at home. I'll come back with my conclusions after you guys watch this small video. All right? Bye-bye.
Change that to just the Federal Reserve or central banks for you right now. So, the day of reckoning will come when millions of baby boomers reach the age where they have to take mandatory distributions from their IRAs. As they find that the investments they were counting on for their retirement, their homes and their IRAs full of mutual funds, have actually lost value, that the amount of stuff that they can buy from the proceeds if they sell their home is actually less than when they bought their home. And as they realize that their dream of a comfortable retirement was just that, a dream, all those boomers will get scared and pull in their horns. They will stop spending. They will start selling off their assets, and the greatest stock market crash in history will unfold as more and more boomers panic and sell. I believe this will also be accompanied by the greatest real estate crash the world has ever known. This perfect storm of bankruptcies and foreclosures will cause the currency supply to contract as the giant credit bubble pops, and all those big spenders become big savers. When people save their currency, it stops circulating. The economic engine runs out of oil, and the whole thing locks up. This is every central banker's worst nightmare. This is real deflation, and the world's central bankers are about to discover the true scale of the horrors of a credit bubble implosion. When this happens, The Federal Reserve will once again send out its armada of money bomb dropping helicopters, but this time something will be different. Something will have gone horribly wrong. The bombs will have been defused. The Fed will try pumping the banking sector by buying up every kind of debt they can get their hands on, but to no avail. They will go to the extraordinary measures that they had said they were prepared to go to. They will buy every mortgage, mortgage-backed security, and any other type of debt that panicky investors and banks are trying to sell, but nothing good will come of it. They will start buying stocks to buoy the stock market, but retail sales will continue to plunge. They will try broad-based tax cuts, but it won't jumpstart the economy. They will work with foreign central banks to buy each other's debt, but the global economy will continue to plummet. People will finally see through the veil. They will see what Dorothy, the Scarecrow, the Lion, and the Tin Man saw, that the Wizard of Oz is really just some dopey old guy frantically pulling levers. Remember when we talked about how during World War I, the Germans increased their currency supply by 400%, yet there was no price inflation because of the public's anxiety over the war and the uncertainty of their future? Imagine the anxiety 75 million baby boomers will feel as they approach retirement, only to find their homes and their mutual funds are now worth next to nothing. The nest egg, ladies and gentlemen, has just cracked. When they get their tax rebates, are they going to buy that new big screen TV and the latest cell phone? I think not. I think they're going to save every dime they can get their hands on, just like in Germany during the war. But there will be a point at which a threshold is reached. For each income class it will be different. It will be the point where they feel that they've finally got enough saved for retirement. For some it will be $100,000, for others it will be $1 million, and for others still it will be $10 million. The Fed knows there is a point where they'll finally feel safe enough to replace that aging computer and maybe get that new TV. At this point, the boys at the Fed will buy enough government debt to fund tax rebates for all the taxes in the previous year, but still, nobody will buy that new car. The threshold the Fed is looking for will not be reached. Then, in not-so-quiet desperation, the Fed will say, "Screw the helicopters, send in the bombers." And as the shadow of millions of stealth currency bombers darken the skies, currency will begin to fall like rain in the desert. As Joe Sixpack and John Q get tax rebate checks in the mail for all the taxes they paid during their entire lifetimes, fear will be temporarily alleviated and some of that currency will come out of hiding, just as in Weimar Germany. Prices will rise quickly and dramatically as all that stored up currency energy is released. In a panic, the Fed will call back the bombers, but it will be too late. There's nothing they will be able to do to stop it now because the hyperinflation will have already begun. The Dow will begin an invisible crash of epic proportions and gold prices will shoot to the moon. If you are wise enough to moor your boat in the safe harbors of gold and silver and other commodities, you will weather the storm. It won't be pretty, but at least you'll be safe. At this point, confidence in the currency will fall faster than it can be created. Cost of living increases for government employees, and the costs of all government projects, the subcontractors, the labor, the materials, will all skyrocket. And each time more currency is created to pay for the increases, the value of the currency will fall even faster. In times like that, governments have only two choices: shut down the government and all of its projects and services, send everybody home without pay, turn off the printing presses, and wait for the free market system to discover price levels that account for the quantity of the currency in the supply, or print the currency into oblivion. Governments have always chosen the latter. But the stored up energy of excess currency creation doesn't have to take place within the United States, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in the future. In fact, there is an abundance of stored up currency just waiting to be released right now. As I mentioned earlier, all the dollars we sent overseas to other countries to buy their goods and services are now sitting in their bank accounts, just waiting to be spent. Eventually, the world economy will lose faith in the US dollar and will want to dump it by buying up goods. And as all those dollars come flooding back into the US, it will, of course, cause the prices of those goods and services to rise, and could, and probably will, trigger a scenario much like the one I have just finished describing.
What's going on, you guys? I decided to stop and get me some food. I walk by this place all the time, and I never ate here, but it's right by the park, baseball field right there. The field of dreams, I call it, because a lot of Dominican youngsters end up going pro from this field right behind me. But I'm going to show you guys what I'm eating. Pretty much eating some chicken, some pollo, and some yuca. It's pretty good too. You know, I always eat pollo here fried. They got pico pollos here, so I decided to get it baked or rotisserie. You know, it's just off the chain over here. This is a great place, and the yuca, as you guys know, is probably better than French fries for sure, because it's just a yuca plant. Pretty much tastes like potato. Most of you guys had yuca, so that's what I'm eating this Sunday. I'm eating some pollo and some yuca, some pollo that's roasted, and some, you know, instead of French fries, I'm trying to eat healthy and stay young and stay living. So I'm gonna continue this video minutes, and I'm gonna go back into the economy. Like I said, he used to come. This meal used to cost me when I first got out here probably about 250 pesos, which is like $5. Not even that much. It was costing about maybe 175 pesos, $3 or $4. Now it's 350 pesos. You know, almost $10 American money. So the price is going up on a lot of stuff, not just here, but in the world. You got inflation, and so that's what we're talking about on this video. All right, so hope you guys enjoyed the economic video to show you guys the stages of what is called hyperinflation. And as soon as I finish eating, we're gonna finish this video and we're gonna wrap up our final thoughts. All right. Yes, I'm back. I hope you guys enjoyed that video that we had there, showing you guys how hyperinflation actually works. This has been going on for so many years. It's happened in Weimar, Germany. It happened in Zimbabwe. It happened in Venezuela. It's now happening in Lebanon. And this has happened over the course of hundreds of years when it comes to hyperinflation. That's exactly how it works. And it was kind of interesting to watch this that was put together back in the early 2000s, even before the crisis of the 2008, that was laid out as to the whole stages of how hyperinflation actually kicks off. Now, I hope you guys watched that a couple times, pay attention to it, because remember, we had this COVID, and then all of a sudden, actually in the 2008, they had a bailout of the banks. That's the government printing money, and they called it quantitative easing one. So they started printing money, but they only relieved and helped banks. But then when we had the COVID, all of a sudden, United States created this, they actually created before COVID. I'm sorry, I want to step my way up. Before COVID, they had this repo thing where they were bailing out banks again. Right around the before COVID, they were helping the banks to meet their quota and be able to exchange with each other. So Federal Reserve stepped in again, printed more money, gave it to the banks to be able to deal with one another. And after the COVID, we noticed a huge influx. And if you watch that video, it talked about how the Federal Reserve is like, bring in the bombers, let's just drop money on them. And they did that during the COVID with the stimulus checks. And it even talked about that. This is in 2002 or 3 or something that video was done. And they talked about when economies crash and how the government will bring in bombers worth of money. And that's exactly what they did. They brought in the bombers and started dropping cash on us like you wouldn't believe, with the rebates on the taxes, giving us back stimulus packages. Instead of us paying taxes, we were getting big checks. Then they turned around and did the PPP, the ADIL loans for businesses. And I knew individuals that didn't even have businesses. I'm not going to put them out there like that. And they weren't even in America, and they were getting checks because they had a social. So they didn't care. They were just giving out money because they wanted to create this thing where they would be able to push the can down the road and just flood the industry with money. Again, what's going to happen when all that cash starts coming back to the United States? Because we send out our money to buy goods, and 95% of our goods, I would say a good 70%, are not made here. So that's a huge problem, because now that cash will be coming back. So I'm glad you guys stay tuned and watch that. I hope you learned something from that, because there's so many coincidences and similarities that are happening right now that was in that particular that video. And with that, I'm gonna go ahead and sign out. You guys like and subscribe to my channel. I hope and pray you got something out of that. We're gonna continue the Family Cash Machine, moving in that direction to educate our people about money, so you guys won't fall victim when all this stuff start crashing. And this is why I'm so adamant about cryptocurrency, because when the economy crashed in the 20s and 30s, they confiscated all the gold. They can't confiscate crypto. So this is why you want something that's outside of the system. You want something that they can't confiscate, that's going to hold its value, that's not connected to the dollar. I don't trust gold, I don't trust silver, because it's highly manipulated on the markets. But if you were able to maintain some, great, good for you, but they can confiscate that. They really can't confiscate crypto. And this is why I really enjoy and like crypto, because that's something that they can't really confiscate. And so with that, we want to have something outside the system that has value that we can exchange when this thing falls apart. So with that, I'll see you guys on the next video. You guys have a great one. Like and subscribe to this channel so you can continue to learn about what you need to do, what time it is, and what must be done. Family Cash Machine. This is Eric Brent, EB Crypto. Peace.